Well, alrighty. Hello, sinners. Was that good?
Close enough. And welcome to the final day of the second annual 12 Days of Sinmas. And I'm here with my friend Pinely.
Hello.
Fellow commentary channel, go subscribe to him. What would you like to give my sinners for the very last day of the 12 Days of Sinmas?
Well, it's the last day. We're gonna have to go with something big. So I will give them this thing on my arm. It smells fine. So you can have it.
That's reassuring. Is it like a wrist brace?
My wrist feels like a bit funny, but it's not that bad.
That's the price we have to pay for editing and all that.
Exactly. You know, it's tough out there being a content creator.
You're so brave.
Finally, someone says it.
Influencers are the hardest working people in our society. We are the backbone of this nation.
Every nation would fall apart without its influencers. Burn down in flames.
On the very last day of Sinmas last year, I did an installment of r/AmITheA asshole, but Sinmas edition. And I decided to do that today with you. So are you a Reddit browser by any means? A Redditor, as they say?
Not really. The main way that I consume Reddit is through YouTube videos. So I guess this is the same.
But you know the gist of r/AmITheA asshole.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain it for the sinners at home who may not be familiar with it?
It's a subreddit where people post about certain situations that they've been in where they may be perceived as the asshole, and the question at the end is, were they?
And it's up to the court of public opinion, and today that's us.
I usually say that they are. I have no sympathy for anyone.
And these are holiday themed. I have 5 stories for us today. Are you ready?
I sure am.
Awesome. So the title of this first one is, Am I the Asshole for Canceling Christmas? Uh-oh.
The Grinch wrote this, probably.
Fully expecting to get torn to shreds, but oh well. Saw a similar post a while back and thought I'd throw my hat in since I'm genuinely wondering. Myself and my husband, 40s F&M, have been hosting Christmas for a few years. That sounds exhausting. Anyway.
That's horrible.
Yeah. There's a lot of mental illness in both sides of our family, so we're pretty low contact. But we host because none of the other family members have a big enough house for everyone to fit thanks to the above, and poor financial decisions. We don't even have a huge house, just big enough for us and the kids, but it's still the biggest space available to them. So every year we spend a week, while still working full-time because neither of us can afford any time off, cleaning the house and getting ready and buying groceries for the Christmas meal. Every year we get no help. My mother used to cook but started refusing to during COVID because she cooked for 20 plus years for Christmas and has had enough. They brought some small platters once and the in-laws brought turkey, but nobody else in the family likes turkey. Yes, we're weird and European, so they just sat there and sulked that they were the only ones eating it. Someone will complain about the food every time, that there's not enough or too much of X and not enough of Y, or why didn't we get Z, and why do they have to bring their own drinks this year, on and on. The children only eat mac and cheese or chicken nuggets and refuse to eat or throw a fit if we don't have any, so we have to make those too. I have to entertain the children because everyone else just ignores them. We end up broke with our house trashed and our kids miserable and throwing tantrums because the others are too, and all around it's just not a fun experience. Damn.
Yeah, that's hell.
That is...
Doing that for like decades as well. Jesus.
So hubby is over it. He's refusing to host this year. He doesn't even want to go out or visit anyone on the day. He just wants to have a dinner with us and our kids, and I'm pretty much in agreement. It's just so much work and such a miserable experience, but the parents are all guilting us and complaining that nobody will help clean their house or cook so they can have it there. I said they can have Christmas wherever they like, but we would like a year off having to do any work or going anywhere. They're telling me we are assholes because Christmas is about family, and I shouldn't let other people's negative attitudes get in the way of having a nice time with family. I should ignore the complaints and just suck it up for the sake of the kids who don't enjoy it anyway and family time. It's only once a year and I should rise above my own resentments. So I ask, am I the asshole for not wanting to do that this year, Reddit? No.
No, yeah, I'm with Reddit on this one. If the kids don't even like it, why put them through it? Like, you're really, like, I feel like Christmas at that point, the only reason you would be doing that is for your kids. If they're not even enjoying it, Just tap
Yeah.
out.
Depending on how old the kids are, especially, like they sound young if they're only eating mac and cheese or chicken nuggets, but like I'm 25 and I still enjoy those things. So like they could be like in their 20s for all we know, but they sound young. With my family, like we're Italian, so like we always have to bring something when we go to someone else's house. Does your family or like loved ones operate the same way?
Well, we do like Jewish holidays, and there's like a billion of them. Yeah, just everyone brings food with them and all that. I think that if I had to deal with that, and my parents growing up had to deal with really horrible people every time we did a dinner, then it probably wouldn't have happened as much.
The idea of not bringing something, that's just like a foreign concept to me.
They're sacrificing their house. Like, you gotta bring something with you, you know? Bring some food. Bring some mac and cheese for the kids.
Like if they have like such a specific diet, like maybe prepare that ahead of time or eat before you go.
If no one likes the traditional food, like if no one's enjoying the turkey, I think it's fine just to not have turkey. Like,
Yeah.
just bring food that people actually like.
No, for real. Like it sounds like nobody's having a good time. Like they're doing it out of routine.
They'd probably like enjoy like a movie night more than whatever they're doing now.
Or just like dessert.
That sounds great. That sounds way better than turkey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Turkey's kind of gross. I'm going to be for real.
I've been vegetarian for a while. But I remember that even then I found it to be really dry.
As quoted in Brooklyn 99, it tastes like napkins.
It does. I think that it's weird that people are guilt tripping them instead of realizing what they've done for a few, like so many years, and just like offering their own place, you know? Even for a smaller gathering, even if their places aren't big enough.
Or like at least bringing something or helping out with the cleaning. Just sounds like they sit there and do nothing.
It seems like the mom used to help at some point. But yeah, she stopped during COVID because she's had enough of cooking. I'd like a post from every single person in this situation.
You want to hear
I'd like
every
to
side?
Because the mother seems to be also upset that she's cooking.
Maybe she feels the same way as her daughter and her husband.
But from this perspective, I agree. Not the assholes.
So Reddit ruled this person as not the asshole. I'm not surprised. So the top comment is, no, not the asshole. You have every right to not open your home, wallets, and time towards this dinner. It's perfectly acceptable to need a break from that stress.
Yeah, even if it's just 1 year off as well.
So yeah, this one was pretty cut and dry.
Unless the mom has something to say. But for now, cut and dry.
I hope the mom learns how to operate
How
Reddit.
to use Reddit.
So would you like to read this next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So there's also been a verdict on this one, but
Ooh,
we're not
not
gonna
the
judge.
asshole. Maybe people are being nicer because it's Christmas time right now.
Yeah.
You'd hope so.
maybe. And everyone can relate to the stress of the holidays.
Am I the asshole for saying I won't kid swap over our Christmas holiday? I'm interested to see what that means.
Yeah. Please elaborate.
I, 32 female, have a brother, Charles, 38 male, who has a girlfriend, Claire, 35 female. Claire has a daughter, Ruby, 8 female, who has additional needs. This will be relevant. And I have a daughter, B4. We are all, along with mine and Charles's parents, going to be on a family holiday over Christmas. Claire was originally not bringing Ruby, as she was meant to be staying with her father, but her dad is a flake and cancelled, so Claire's now bringing her. I'll be honest, I'm already a bit confused because of all the names. But
Yeah.
I'll try and figure it out.
A lot of players involved.
For some reason, Claire loves my daughter, which is great. She will volunteer to babysit her. I don't need babysitting, as I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my mother is nearby for emergencies. Unprompted, and whenever we see her at events, she always wants to play with B. B loves her, and it's nice to see. But it is noticeable how she will spend a whole afternoon fussing over B, even when me and my husband are perfectly capable of looking after her. But again, she's great with B, so we don't mind. A couple of days ago, Claire and I were texting about what to pack for the trip, as I was lending her some clothes. During this, I sent her a picture of what I was packing for B to give her some idea of what Ruby would need. And Claire said she was really looking forward to seeing B. She then suggested, for a couple of days during the holiday, we do a kid swap? where we babysit each other's kids for the day. I was immediately not keen on the idea as I only met Ruby twice, and I know nothing about her needs or how to properly look after her. Also, I come on holiday. Yeah, that's insane. If you have a kid with special needs, why would you give a person who doesn't know how to deal with special needs
That's
to take care of them? Okay.
so irresponsible.
Also, I come on holiday to spend time with my child, fair enough, not farm her out to the other people. I skirted around the issue, saying we could definitely do things together, but Claire kept pushing me to agree. She wanted her and Charles to take Beef for a day to go ice skating. This back and forth went on for a while before I finally said no. I'm not letting you borrow my child. You already have one.
That's insane.
Claire said I was being unfair and that she deserves a break and to have an enjoyable holiday, too. She then said she didn't want to borrow my clothes anymore and stopped texting me. She's really sticking up to her by not borrowing her clothes.
Got her.
Charles is now saying she's very hurt and that I won't let her take B out and that Claire adores her. I said that's not the point. I'm not comfortable caring for Ruby on my own, and frankly I find it a bit odd that Claire's idea of a break from parenting involves babysitting. Yeah.
At that point, it's not a vacation, like watching a kid that's not yours.
Yeah, she just wants to steal her kid. Maybe she has like some more sinister plans involved here.
Maybe. I mean, you never know with Claire, apparently.
You never know. You never know. Charles says I'm massively over-dramatizing and that babysitting Ruby for a few hours doesn't need a degree and I should just help Claire out. Now, I'm wondering if he's right. Am I the asshole?
So I'm just going off of what is written. I'm going to try not to make speculations of the family. But from the way that OP worded it, it seems like Ruby, the 8-year-old, has a lot of support needs where maybe she takes certain medicine, maybe she uses mobility aids or some sort, something that where she needs extra care. My theory is that Claire is tired of the caregiver role, or like she wants a break from the caregiver role, and like maybe she misses the idea of like having a neurotypical or able-bodied child, so like she uses the other daughter, B, to live her fantasy.
I guess doing parenting easier, quote unquote.
Yeah, because it sounds like Ruby needs a lot of additional support. And maybe Claire is tired of that or feels like she's missing out on having a normal kid, which I think is super fucked up.
It's fair if she wants someone who is trained to take care of her kid to, do that for a few hours. I think like presenting it as this idea of a kid swap, that's just really weird. It's like something out of a sitcom or something like that.
As if they're both getting something out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's also like weird. It's kids. What do you mean you want to swap them?
Yeah. And like the other daughter is 4 years old. It seems like she's like way too young to even participate in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think that OP is the asshole.
No.
But I think her husband is.
He's the biggest asshole in this.
I mean, if he thinks that he can take care of Ruby, then he should offer himself up to that.
So let's look at the top comments.
Not the asshole. The problem is not only that Claire wants to borrow Beef for a while. A really funny sentence.
Hey, can I borrow your kid? Promise it's not weird.
She wants you to take care of her child with special needs. A child who you don't know and Ruby doesn't know you and could be uncomfortable around people she doesn't know well and don't know how to take care for. Absolutely.
Yeah. This is so unfair to Ruby, too. So what do you think so far?
I feel bad because I said at the beginning that I'm going to say that everyone's an asshole, and so far I've said that both aren't. So I really hope that we're going to get someone that's going to change kind of my statistics a bit.
Well, I'm going to show you one that doesn't have a verdict yet because it was only posted 11 hours ago at the time of recording. Am I the asshole for giving my little sister a bath set for her Christmas gift?
Yes. That's really rude.
Oh my God. The nerve. Maybe this is her subtle way of letting her little sister know that she smells. I, 19F, am losing my freaking mind over this. I've repeatedly asked my littlest sister, 14F, what she wanted for Christmas, and it's been like pulling teeth. Before we even continue, buying for teenagers is so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I have a brother that's about that age, and I don't know what to buy him.
For like birthdays and stuff.
Yeah, he asked for like CS:GO skins, and I was like, I'm not buying you pixels out of video game. I'm not doing that.
Back in our day, we didn't
Yeah.
ask for V-Bucks.
Yeah, V-Bucks didn't exist back then, punk.
Or
And I pushed them
Robux.
down.
She changes her mind every time I ask and tells me she doesn't know and to check back later. I had literally gotten everybody else's gift except hers at this point, and while I was at the store, I saw a nice bath and body set that wasn't too expensive. She likes that kind of stuff, and it came in a really nice container too, and my first thought was that she could use the container to put her crocheting or baking stuff in, which are her two hobbies. So I bought it for her Christmas gift. I want to take a second to say that I'm not financially well off in the slightest. I won't go into details, just know I don't have much money. With that being said,
Yeah, she's 19.
yeah, that's pretty common at that age. With that being said, I thought I did pretty decent for a very hardcore budgeted Christmas. Last night, my sisters and I did our Christmas exchange early because my other sister, 17F, and I would be working pretty much the entire week leading up to Christmas. And there was a possibility that I would be working Christmas Day. I'm an EMT. This is normal. That's badass.
At 19, that is badass.
Yeah. When I gave her the gift, it was written all over her face that she didn't like it, but I didn't say anything and neither did she. Fast forward about 30 minutes, I was hanging out with my 17-year-old sister when she comes into the room. She has very obviously been crying but tells us it's nothing and she's fine. My sister and I ask her to tell us what's wrong, and after again pulling teeth with her, she finally says that I put zero thought into her gift and just threw it together and that it was cheap. I offered to take it back and exchange it for something else she would like more, and was met with an accusatory, "This is why I didn't say anything, you're being mean and hostile now, yada yada yada." I truly don't think I was, I just wanted to fix the mistake. My other sister and I try to explain that she gave me nothing to go off of, and my sister also pointed out that she has money and yet has not bought a single gift for anyone in the family and really shouldn't be complaining that her gift isn't big enough or expensive enough when she hasn't gotten anyone anything nor mentions any plans to. Not that it really matters to me. At first I was irritated, but now I feel kind of like the asshole in this situation for not getting her something she would have liked more. Am I the asshole?
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
She didn't tell her what she wants. Like, what is she supposed to do? I feel like bath sets are also like one of those kind of standard gifts that you give, like when you don't know what to get someone.
Yeah, I've definitely bought like a bath set or two for people. Yeah. It's better than a gift card, because that's like, you really don't know.
And I'll be honest, I like candles, so I wouldn't mind.
And bath sets are great. Who doesn't love soap?
Yeah, I think like the fact that her sister didn't get them stuff, I don't know if that's as relevant, because I don't know, she's like 14. Some people give gifts at that age, some people don't. I think that's kind of dependent on the person. But also, no, you're never going to be the asshole for giving someone a gift.
Right. I started giving gifts to people when I got my own job when I was like 16 or 17. So I don't know if her, depending on where they live, I don't know if her sister's employed or if she's too young. Are you good at like determining what gifts to get which people?
Yeah, it depends on the person, because some people are very much like, they talk all the time about the things they like. So it's like really easy. To be fair, it's kind of funny that she mentioned that her sister likes crocheting and baking in the same post where she said that she doesn't know what she likes. But again, not the asshole, just probably just didn't fully think about it, right? That doesn't make someone an asshole.
I know I just said that gift cards were kind of low effort, but like, you know, maybe like a gift card to Michael's or Joann's Fabrics. Mm-hmm. A craft store.
I'm going to say that she is the asshole just because I want to kind of even out my ratio a bit, because I said that there's going to be that all of them are going to be assholes.
You're an asshole for not getting her a gift card to Michael's.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? Get her a yarn ball next year, see what she says.
Get her some fucking yarn, asshole. So we have 2 stories left. How are you feeling so far?
I'm looking to find more assholes. That's a weird sentence.
I found one. It's everyone sucks.
Ooh, okay. Multiple assholes. That's gonna raise the ratio by quite a bit. Am I the asshole for saying I won't come to Christmas at my in-laws if I can't wear a hat?
I feel that.
Oh yeah, okay. I imagined like a big like top hat, like an Oppenheimer style hat. Beanie makes more sense, but I guess we'll see. This is a petty little thing, but maybe you guys can help me know if I was in the wrong. For context, I, 25 female, got married in November. MIL mother-in-law doesn't really like me. even trying to steal the spotlight at my wedding, but is still overly traditional. At Thanksgiving, I was having a really bad hair day, so I wore a black leather cap, a dressier newsboy style one. Okay, I can imagine it in my head, which my husband said looked great on me. The holiday was hostile, even more so than prior gatherings I've been to. And hubby said mother-in-law said it was because I wore a hat.
It's a damn hat.
But I know it was just an excuse. I told mother-in-law I wouldn't come to Christmas with them, then blocked her number and Facebook. Okay,
Damn.
I already have some opinions about that. I think if you just got married, you gotta tread a bit more lightly than that. You can't burn that bridge that early on. I think sometimes you just gotta tolerate your significant other's parents.
Especially they got married within the month of their
Yeah.
first holiday together as a married couple.
Telling her that you're not gonna come to Christmas and then blocking her number and her Facebook, that's a lot.
All because she wanted to show up like a newsy character.
My husband is trying to keep us both happy since he doesn't like conflict. Poor guy. He wants me to come to one more celebration to see if maybe people are getting used to me. He told mother-in-law she needs to be nice and treat me as part of the family since I am, and that if I feel unwelcome at Christmas like I did at Thanksgiving, that we won't attend future events and she won't see him much anymore. I'm guessing that's what she tried to write. I understand why he wants me to give her one final chance and haven't had any conflict with him. Marriage is about compromise, and I get that he doesn't want to cut her off since she's his mother, but I just don't want to be involved with her unless I have to be. You have to be.
Yeah.
She's your husband's mom. She can be your husband's mom, but with the stuff that's happened so far, it does sound bad, but it's a level of badness where you probably still need to tolerate it, you know? It would be a different thing if she was like straight up evil, like, I don't know, racist,
Abusive.
whatever, abusive. That's a different situation, but if it's constrained to this kind of area of stuff and it happened in one holiday, you gotta keep going.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if mother-in-law was listening to him, so I asked my husband to request that I be allowed to wear the same hat to Christmas. Definitely petty.
Oh my
Why
God.
would you want to wear the hat again?
She puts like a little jingle bell on it
Spray
to
painted
make it
in
more
red.
to make it more festive.
He said he thought I'd worn it since I had a bad hair day. Jet, what a poor guy being in the middle of that. Jesus Christ.
2 nightmare women in his life.
Definitely married his mom. But this time, it's as a statement that they shouldn't treat me as an outsider. What are you doing statements? Just
That
go
you're
to
annoying?
holiday. Yeah, it's a statement that you're insufferable. Either because I wear hats all the time. Right now, it's just a sports visor, which I'd never wear to a holiday. So it's not like I'm doing that.
No, you break out the Newsies cap for holidays. We all know that.
If they won't let me wear a hat, what else are they going to restrict about me? Let me be or I won't come, period. How about you don't try to find out those things? My husband agreed and relayed this to mother-in-law, and she's been asking him why he married the devil.
Jesus Christmas.
Yeah, I think she might not like her. I think she might not like her very much.
You seem like you have very strong feelings with this compared to the 3 previous stories, and I love it.
I've seen people who fall out with like their significant other's parents over fucking nothing, and
Right.
it's like just breathe in and kind of you gotta just keep going because it's not for them. You're not really showing respect for them. You're just showing respect for your partner and not putting them in this situation where they're between 2 people who are just at war with each other.
It's their family at the end of the day.
They're stuck with that parent, you know? Like, just gotta deal with that. My friends think that my hat request was unnecessary. Yeah, if even her friends are not on her side.
They're like, hey girl,
They get, like, even more of a context for this situation. And if they think that she's the asshole, I think that we're vindicated in this situation.
right. Because typically friends will try to like find excuses for you, but like the good friends will call you out.
I think he just needed space to think because conflict stresses him out. So I gotta ask, am I the asshole for saying I won't come if I won't wear a hat? Yeah.
Yeah. Or Compromise and wear a Santa hat.
Santa hat is absolutely fair. You get to wear your hat. That's absolutely true.
Like, if you must wear a hat, because what's a holiday without a hat?
Also, obviously, the mom is awful as well, right? Like, I'd have some stern words to give her, too. It's really the two of these people putting him in the center of that. That sucks.
Before we continue, though, OP said that her mother-in-law tried to steal the spotlight at her wedding just a few weeks prior. Something tells me, like, the mother-in-law wore white or something.
Maybe the mother-in-law wore a big hat.
She brought her own white Newsies cap.
That's what she's upset about, that she stole her style. She doesn't really care about the Christmas thing.
So update. My husband just texted me saying he just got off the phone with his mother. He told her off for calling me the devil and said that if I can't wear a hat, he's not coming either, and that she really should get over her antiquated BS. She did not respond well. I don't think we're going to Christmas there now, so maybe we'll have a friend miss. IDK, we'll think of something. This is so stupid. OP is kind of the asshole for choosing a Newsies cap. Maybe the mom was just like, you look kind of cringe right now.
You look like you're on Reddit.
Yeah. Like, to block her number and Facebook immediately after that one little request, like...
It's insane. They got married in November. So this is like, yeah, a few weeks after they got married, she already blocked her mother-in-law.
It seems like maybe there was other stuff going on leading up to the wedding, or like she's had these resentful feelings for a while and she used this as like the catalyst to like be like, I'm finally doing it and I'm finally gonna block her number. Too much.
Yeah, no, you gotta like suck it up sometimes. The fact that they're not gonna go to Christmas over a hat is the funniest thing ever.
If you're forcing your partner to choose sides or like giving them an ultimatum, that usually is not a recipe for success.
They're probably done by now. They're probably divorced up until this point.
I don't think they made it to the 1 year mark personally. No sign of the father-in-law.
Yeah, he's probably chill. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Or dead or something.
The most chill you can be.
Literally.
Do you agree with the verdict that everyone sucks?
I mean, not the husband.
The husband got pretty petty at the end, so I would say he sucks
Yeah,
too.
to be fair, yeah, you're right. He does suck as well. They all deserve each other in a way. So I'd say he sucks, she sucks, the mother-in-law sucks, and the hat probably sucks as well.
The hat is also the asshole. If I had to rank the assholeness of everyone involved...
Ooh, yeah, do that.
The husband is at the bottom. Then I would say the mother-in-law, the wife, and then finally the hat. The hat is the ultimate asshole.
Sucks the most. Yeah. Asshole sucky hat.
This hat tore the family apart. The top comment says, everyone sucks here. You took a situation that could have been a first step toward a less contentious relationship with your mother-in-law and made demands which intentionally agonized her. Of course, you should be able to wear whatever you want, and your mother-in-law is being insane in this situation, but do you want to be right or do you want peace in your family? Like what you said.
You don't need to be right sometimes, like...
Yeah. Just like for the sake of like the family.
If you do want to settle that and want to dress in your own terms, which I think is absolutely fair, the way to do that is not like by making a big show of it. Try to like meet up with her for coffee and have a conversation with her, which doesn't seem like that was the course of action here. You know, there's like other ways to do it. And if after you talk with her about everything and she still feels like she wants to dictate every part of your life, then I think it's a bit more warranted. But doing this big experiment, that's just bizarre. Like, don't do an experiment. What are you doing? You're an adult.
So this last one is short, but it got 33,000 upvotes.
Ooh.
Am I the asshole for not wanting coal for Christmas? Did a 7-year-old write this? This year I went to my fiance's house for Christmas. It was my first time going, as we would typically go to my family's house instead. I got a rather pricey gift for my fiance Dan related to his hobbies. I got nice gifts for Dan's parents based off of things I've talked about with them before. And I got a small pack of chocolates for each of Dan's other relatives. I didn't know them that well. I wasn't expecting many gifts from Dan's relatives because I didn't know many of them that well, but I was certainly expecting more than what I got. Popcorn.
Oh. At first I was excited when I saw there was a big pile of gifts for me. However, once I opened the first one, it was just a piece of coal. Everyone laughed, and I just kind of laughed along thinking it was a gag gift, and that the other gifts would be different. But every single one turned out to be coal. All 18 of them. I started to get upset, so I cried and lashed out at Dan. But he calmly explained apparently this is a long-standing tradition in his family where they gift coal to newcomers. who are celebrating Christmas with them for the first time. What?
They must do this every Christmas because I imagine the new partners aren't there for the following Christmas because the couples broke up.
They break out every single time. He explained that it's just easier that way since all the relatives who might not know the newcomer well don't have to stress over finding a gift, and it's a fun experience for the newcomer as well. I told Dan I couldn't believe I skipped my own family celebration for this and left, but now Dan and some of his family are blowing up my phone saying I embarrassed him in front of his relatives and that I made it awkward for everyone. So, am I the asshole?
Why can't people just be normal?
That's a fucking funny family tradition. It's shitty to do, but I think it's so funny.
It's so silly.
But obviously you should make your kid's partner feel good. Like, I think it's really rude to give her a call. Could just give her the bath stuff, you know?
Yeah. I think he should have warned her ahead of time. Maybe not told her exactly, but like been like, hey, every time we bring home someone new, they do a gag gift, so just be prepared.
Yeah. I think also, like, if you really sacrificed or missed out on your family's thing that was going on to get 18 piles of coal, then that really sucks.
Yeah.
Also, like, the whole thing about them not knowing what to gift, like, you could just ask him. So that's a stupid reason.
Yeah, or get her like chocolates like she did, a bottle of wine.
I think I would have respected the answer of because it's funny. It's easier to not gift anything.
It's like you're not even bothered trying to get to know the person.
Yeah, and again, like what she did, chocolates. Everyone likes chocolate. Just give them chocolate. Give them like the standard gift stuff.
Where's she gonna put it?
In a fire, I guess. That's such a bizarre situation to be in.
Maybe the first couple times it's funny, but like 18 times?
Yeah,
that's a little much.
18, you're like breaking down like it's psychological warfare.
If they did it like once, like that was like the first gift they handed her, the last gift, I think that would be funny.
Yeah, not getting her any gifts as well. Like, I feel like you're not putting in the effort to make her feel welcome.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a mean tradition.
Well, Reddit overwhelmingly said that they're not the asshole. Not the asshole, you skipped your family's Christmas for this and they shouldn't have done this to you without a warning or your consent. Just because they enjoy this tradition doesn't mean it can't be hurtful to you, and they clearly ruined the occasion and then gave you a stupid explanation. Especially your fiance is inconsiderate in all this, you deserve better. This was legit humiliation. Yeah, the fiance is the ultimate asshole for not warning her.
Not the asshole, totally agree. This was a thoughtless and mean-spirited thing to do. You were so thoughtful and kind to them. I am so sorry. Hope you had a happier time with your family. Tell your fiancé you need some time to think about this. This was a bad joke. Block all others. You don't need their continued negativity. You did nothing wrong. It's totally on them. That's nice. People are being nice. That's good to see. Maybe it would work better if you just told her to not give a gift or something like that. But if you're getting a bunch of stuff and all you're giving out is pieces of fucking coal.
Like, she also wasted money.
Yeah, you gotta take into consideration the fact that she spent time and money curating these gifts and you just bought a bag of coal.
Yeah, the holidays are a weird time of year.
Absolutely. You meet too many people. You gotta see everyone. You gotta give them stuff. You gotta throw out a bunch of coal because you got it from your fiance's family.
Who do you think the ultimate asshole was today?
Probably that mom. I think she's worse than the wife, yeah. But mainly the hat, I think.
The hat is the ultimate asshole. But that mother-in-law is definitely up there.
I'd put her worse than the coal gag. Because, like, they didn't call her the devil.
Right.
So I feel like...
I'm going to change my ranking from earlier. I think the mother-in-law is more of an asshole than her daughter-in-law. I retract my statement, and I'm sorry. I'm listening and learning.
That's fair. I forgive you.
Thank you so much for coming on today for the very last day of Sinmas.
It's an honor to be here.
I love your stuff, and I'm so glad we got to collab today. For the sinners at home, where could they find you?
My YouTube channel, Pinely, and then I also got a second channel that I'm more active on, Evil Pinely. But the stuff on Pinely is the better stuff.
Evil Pinely is like your silly, goofy channel.
That's where I get to be evil and goofy.
Thank you for watching not only today, but the entire 12 days of Sinmas. If you like this, make sure to give this video a tiny, tiny thumbs up. Subscribe to both of us down below. Merry Sinmas to all, and to all a good night. We'll see you soon. Bye!
Bye, Merry Sinmas.